As we come to the end of this phase of our life, we find ourselves trying to remember the good times and trying to forget the bad times.
When people die, everything that they touch becomes immortalized forever. From their movies to their songs, everything that they've done becomes the mainstay. But the problem is that we tend to hyperfixate on the things that they've done or contributed rather than the person that they actually were. We as a society tend to take real complicated people and turn them into touchable beings the moment that they're gone. We immortalize their art, not the person that they actually were. We don't just mourn them, we rewrite their history. There's a pattern that we don't talk about enough. When someone dies young, talented, and beautiful, they stop being human and we tend to turn them into symbols. We've done this time and time again with countless iconic figures. But today we're going to be focusing on Marilyn Monroe, Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy, and Aaliyah. The first person that we're going to talk about is Marilyn Monroe. Born Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1st, 1926, most people don't know that Monroe was actually a foster child, whose mother was sent to an asylum at a young age. Monroe's unstable childhood isn't really talked about much. Marilyn Monroe was the definition of a pop culture icon. She was the original blonde bombshell, the one that people still try to imitate to this day. She was one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, but when everyone remembers her, no one really talks about how sad her story truly was. She was often typecast into dumb blonde roles and was often treated like a sexual object. She's even been quoted saying, "Please don't make me a joke. I want to be an artist, an actress with integrity." People often forget that Marilyn wasn't just a bombshell that should be imitated. She was a real person that fought for her voice to be heard and wanted to be taken seriously. You can't talk about Marilyn without talking about the beautiful human being that she was.
I explained to you, I was never used to being happy. So that wasn't something I was sort of counting on. I think I counted on it just to nourish exclusive. I think I am, because I have very few friends, but not to be exclusive. It's just that although I like people, but for friends, I like few people. I would like to be more sociable than I am. On some days. Well, sometimes I'll chat when I'm not pleased, but sometimes the work itself requires more that I'm quiet and to myself more. Another day,
We often focus on the highlights of her life and what she gave to Hollywood, but don't focus on what truly made her who she was, her vulnerability and her struggle. Okay, so before we get into the Carolyn Bessette of it all, I just want to take the time to say that we did not know that woman. We did not know a single thing about that woman besides the fact that she used to work at Calvin Klein and she got married to JFK Jr. When Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy was alive, she was painted as a villain by the media. And now, almost 30 years after her death, TikTok has named her the queen of the clean girl aesthetic. Which is bizarre to me because, like I said before, we did not know her. We didn't know a single thing about her. She didn't give any sit-down interviews and she barely ever talked to the press. So how are people making all these assumptions about her?
To break it to you, but Carolyn Bessette will never be niche. The amount of girls that I keep seeing upset over the fact that their niche style inspo that they've had for years is now trending because of the show is just so funny to me. The Kennedys are arguably one of the most famous families in the country. There's no way that anyone associated with them would ever be niche. She feels niche to you because you were born in 2005 and you probably stumbled upon her through Tumblr or some random internet blog. I also think it stems from people being weirdly territorial over things that they like or admire. Music, movies, certain celebrities, actors. They need you to know that you knew about it first. But you will never be the person that knew about it first. When someone shares a song on TikTok that's not trending and people in the comments are always saying, "Oh my God, please don't bring this to TikTok. This is my song." People are so obsessed with feeling like they knew about the cool thing before you did. And it's stupid. There's nothing wrong with Carolyn Bessette being your inspo. Just don't act like you're the only person that has been dressing like her their entire life.
Ever since Love Story dropped, Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy has been the queen of TikTok. But to be completely honest, she probably would have hated that. She was the woman that valued her privacy. We don't know much about her because she never gave us much. So people hailing her as a clean girl icon that beats men probably would have terrified her. Now I want to talk about Aaliyah. Aaliyah is now remembered as the ultimate R&B girl, the princess of R&B. Everyone tries to emulate her style, her class, and her swag, and she is fondly remembered as a staple in R&B pop culture. Everyone that knew her has fond memories of her. But the truth is that when Aaliyah was alive, she was scrutinized and mistreated.
R. Kelly. And almost instantly, rumors start to swirl because R. Kelly is all over this album. He is all over this press tour, all over The Child. I mean, wherever Aaliyah goes, he is not far behind. And although her album is titled What It Is, and her first performance is for All That on Nickelodeon, a child's program. Yo, by the way, when asked her age in interviews, Aaliyah is told not to tell.
For the record, you are how old? That's a secret.
And why would that be? Well, the 15-year-old has a secret, and it's, I'm sure, an absolutely terrifying one for her to hold on to. The child is pregnant by a 27-year-old R. Kelly. And this was speculated at the time, but it was confirmed in 2021 during R. Kelly's trafficking trial, where his tour manager confirmed that Aaliyah was pregnant. In response, these two grown men hatched a plan. First, R. Kelly's tour manager would bribe a local official in Detroit for 2 forms of fake IDs. These would state that Aaliyah was 18 when in fact she was 15 years old. They would then bring the girl to Chicago without any parental supervision and marry her off to R. Kelly. This move would be made so that R. Kelly could then authorize an abortion for Aaliyah without being charged for statutory rape. Can I just say, to know the laws well enough, to know that there was a loophole to get him out of these charges, it's incredibly telling. But this marriage stunt does not stay under wraps very long. I actually think it was Tori, who's very active here on TikTok and a friend of the channel, that was the first to obtain a copy of the license while working for MTV News, so they were actually the first to break it. Now, you and I are hearing this story and going, oh, what the fuck? Both of those men should obviously be in prison. Not only rape, but fraud on top of it to get out of the rape charges. Like, surely once this was all brought to light, there were consequences, right? Well, yes, there were, but not for R. Kelly. In fact, the big question the media had was whether Aaliyah would face charges for presenting a fake ID to get married. The fake ID she was supplied with, she had braces when they met. Now, as far as Aaliyah's family's reaction, the reason he didn't go to prison for this, well, R. Kelly made a deal with them. That deal included the annulment and subsequent expungement of the marriage from Aaliyah's records, and R. Kelly sold the rights to his first 3 albums to her family in order for both them and her to stay quiet, which is why
All of that was allowed to happen is insane. And it just shows how truly unprotected she was when she was alive, even though everyone claims that they loved her. And I genuinely wonder how people would treat her if she was still alive.
The perfect victim does exist. They're just dead and or children. Like, the reason why they're never questioning if Diddy abused Kim Porter, she's dead. The reason why people never question if Aaliyah was ever abused by R. Kelly, she's dead. If Kim Porter was still here and Aaliyah was still here, the way that people would be calling these women everything but a child of God, but because these women are dead, people are automatically going to believe it.
He is absolutely right. Because when Aaliyah was alive, people slut-shamed her over that relationship, quote-unquote. Aaliyah was considered to be the perfect victim because she was forced to stay quiet. She never got the chance to tell her story, so people just decided to rewrite it for her. There's something truly unsettling about how we turn dead icons into an aesthetic. We project things onto them because they're no longer here to correct us. We're not just remembering them, we're flattening the person that they actually were. We romanticize the glitz and the glamour, but not everything that it took to get them to where they were. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do we honor these women, or do we just make them easier to consume? And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching this video.